Hello everyone. I don't think it's morning, or if it's morning it's barely still. It's close to noon. I've had to wait till now to get out because the rain's been nonstop. Since I had to work yesterday, I enjoyed working, so it's not like it's hard. But because I had to work, I couldn't pack my car. And I'm moving tomorrow. I normally pre-pack. So I'm very grateful that they worked overtime to get 2 days worth of filming done in one day, so I don't have to go back. But it's eventful. I don't know how much more of this I'm going to do. I'm trying to raise money with this fundraiser because I didn't do anything last year. I'm very grateful for some recent contributions. We're over halfway in any case, which basically takes the pressure off, so I don't have to work. But this was a fun show. I liked it. I can't talk about it, but this is the second season for this show, and I really enjoyed this genre. Any case, I'm driving to work in the morning. I leave at 6 a.m. from the campsite. I'm in my suit and tie. You can see my hair looks nice because I wasn't wearing a hat to give myself hat hair. And I fit pretty close to the person I was being a stand-in for. Right height, general build. And they give you the sides so that you can kind of try to memorize. So when you're blocking for the camera, this is what a stand-in does. When you're walking from A to B or doing whatever you need to do, bending down, picking up something, or climbing into something or whatever, they can get the timing down, make sure the angles are right for the lights and the cameras and everything can catch everything. And they film everything. Individual shots, they film 3 to 4 or 5 takes. And then you have multiple shots. And you have cutaway shots. If you watch a TV show, you'll be looking at this person talking here, and then it may cut away to somebody else listening in the other room, or whatever the series is, whatever's going on. Keeping that cutaway stuff includes the audience in the action. If you just film from one angle, might make a good documentary, but it basically doesn't bring the audience in. So, tricks of the trade. And I always am excited to see people that I've worked with before. And I did. And you make new friends while you're there too, so that's always good. All right. Enough about me. And I've got to be careful with that. God doesn't like me talking about me, although He's set up all the things in my life that are good. He set them up. So if I'm talking about Him and I'm giving Him the glory, I don't know why. But I got to be careful because some things can be prideful. Pride is not a characteristic of God. Toot toot, train. I keep forgetting that there's a train over there. It doesn't run all the time. So, God is ready to help you. Whatever your problem is, He's ready to help. But you have to give it all to Him. You want help with your significant other. Maybe you have one, maybe you don't, maybe you want one. He's got the right person for you. If you've made a mistake and you're with the wrong person, you can pray about it, but it may be a struggle. And people change over time. So that's the thing. And do you change together? If you change together with God, it will work out better than if you do the opposite. Okay. So John talks about some of the things. This would be Jesus actually talking, but John's recording it here. Our gospel writers are eyewitnesses. Now, if they wrote this stuff entirely from their own memory, that would be a problem. Because eyewitnesses aren't your best testimony in court. That's why they've got to have like 3 witnesses to corroborate something, because one person might see a red Ferrari, another person might see a pink elephant. I mean, it's like, how do these even connect? So if you got the third person and he sees a white Jeep, you've got no good corroborating evidence. But if they both see a pink elephant, then you got to believe there was one there. But even that is not 100% fallible. They like to have more. Okay, so I'm going to be reading out of John 14, verse 25. These things I have spoken to you while I'm being present with you. So he's writing these things while they're all together. But the Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, because we've been forgiven, he will teach you all things and bring to remembrance all things that I said to you. That's a key. Bring to remembrance all things that I said. That's why John can write down this scripture. Because the Holy Spirit, which all of them got after Pentecost, brings back the memory. So even though I have a hard time memorizing verses, or at least correlating a number in a verse with a particular topic, I have a hard time doing that. Now, I can remember the ideas, but I can't remember, okay, where was that? Was that in Romans, or was that, no, that sounds, well, it's all Paul in most of the stuff, so his type of writing style and the words he uses are unique. Peter seems to be the one that brings up the odd words that nobody knows about. These were fishermen. These were not scholars by any means. But the Spirit can use anyone. All right. Bring to remembrance all things that I said to you. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. I talked about in my last video. It's getting worse. It seems out of control, but it's not. It's a controlled collapse. Our government being run by these World Health Federation people. I'm going to just kind of paraphrase that so I don't get in trouble. These guys just basically, they've got so much money, they're so disconnected from reality that Satan can get into their minds. If they're not Christian, and 99%, it's harder for a rich man to get to heaven. So we know that they're going to be influenced. And Satan has a plan, and they fit right into it. Those that fit into it, Satan will help out. They will continue to make more money. They will continue. Satan will help prepare the way. As Jesus would prepare the way for Christians, Satan is preparing the way for those with evil intent. I was listening to an interview with Elon Musk, and I'm not going to mention the billionaire that he was talking about, but he goes, this guy's had a really tough life growing up. He's been knocked around quite a bit. In my opinion, I think he hates mankind. And you can see it in some of the things that he does. You can see that hatred come out. I think these rich people all are like that. They feel very aloof. They feel very separated. The closest, if you're rich, the closest you could associate with that's not rich would be middle class. They're eliminating middle class. Nobody will be middle class. You will either be in their camp, rich, and backing their ways, because that's the only way to stay there, or you're going to be poor. And they're going to eliminate as many people as possible so that they don't have to deal with them because they don't like people. The suffering that they're administering right now guarantees them, if they're not Christian, guarantees them a trip to the lake of fire. Now, if they're Christians and they're falling away, I can't believe God would let them continue. But you take, it's like our Marvel movies. You take one of the heads of the snake off of Hydra, and the other ones come back and do just as much damage. So you can't unless you take them all down. And only Jesus is capable of doing that, and he will. Okay, continuing on. You have heard me say, I am going away and coming back to you. Interesting. What am I supposed to take with that? You're going to go over to Samaria and then come back? You're going to take a Mediterranean cruise? What is this? Going away and coming back. See, these guys didn't catch on for a long time. Some of them didn't catch on till the end. If you loved me, you would rejoice because I said this. I am going to the Father, and my Father is greater than I. These are some of these dichotomies that we have to deal with as Christians. My Father is greater than I, and in other places he says, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Well, we're looking at a human being who happens to have a father-son relationship with God. Nobody else on earth has that. So we're seeing the human side of him. He didn't want to come down here and be God on earth because we could never guarantee to match that. But we can guarantee to match him. With his spirit, we can be as productive as he was when he was here. And cause as much strife with non-Christians as he did when he was here. That's one of the side effects. But he knows that, and he knows how to cover that. Every time they came to stone him, he just disappeared. How? I don't know. Did he go out the back door? Did he climb down a tunnel shaft? Did they carry him out in a basket like they did with Paul? No, we don't know. I'm hearing, I think that's, no, it's a car. Sometimes I hear what I think is a car, and it turns out to be thunder. We got some of that last night. We're fortunate. Right now, I think it's in the 60s. And a week ago, it was in single digits. 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. So depending on where this person goes, I may have to stop the video. I like to talk to people when they come by. And I got a chance to witness to people last night. But I noticed that I could witness, but I could never really sit down and talk to them. If I did, I mean, there was one of the cases, just to show you how the world thinks. And most of the people of the world know what's going on. Even if they're not Christian, they know what's going on. There was one of the director types, and one of the guys has to get up in something that's scary, and the director tells him to, look scared and pretend to be scared. And before he climbed into this thing, I went up to that director because he was standing actually a foot away from you. So I just went over to him and whispered, what would be funny is if he did this before he got inside. Because the other two just jumped right in. They were ready to do this, but he didn't want to do it. I can't tell you any more than that, but the guy comes back to me, that would be funny. But Hollywood people, they don't like Jesus. Yeah. So, as long as I can keep playing wholesome characters, I don't mind doing this, but I won't play people that are not. Now, I have been a walker in The Walking Dead, but I died off in it, so it didn't matter. And I never killed anybody as a walker. All right. Jesus will prepare a world for us to live in individually. Every one of us that belongs to Jesus, he's sat down taking notes going, okay, I know this person's going to really love to do this. Let's see if we can work this into their life. So when you go to Jesus and say, I give my life to you, you're not going to sit there and go, oh, you're handing me a brush to clean toilets? I don't think I want to do this. You hear these non-Christians all the time. I don't want to sit on a cloud and play harp and sing praise songs for the rest of eternity. Well, I don't either. If it's all praise, then we don't know that it's voluntary. God gives us the choice in life. But if he prepares something for you, be at least willing to taste it. You ever sat down at a meal that your mom's cooking something new and you don't want to taste it? Well, you're not getting up from the table until you at least taste that. And you sit there and you sit there, and everybody gets up from the table, they're gone, the dishes are done. They even walk in and turn the light off on you, and you're still sitting there. It's getting cold by now, but you reach over and you taste it. Oh my God, this isn't bad. What was all the fuss about? And then you go ahead and you eat it, and you go in and you show them the plate, and you can get back in and join the rest of the family. God's like that with us. He prepares stuff for us, but we just don't want to taste it. But He knows your taste buds. I don't know if they're by name, but He has our hairs on our head numbered. He knows what you will like and what you won't like. He won't give you something you won't like. But the problem that we have a dividing line. Maybe something is for our growth and something is for our pleasure. It'd be nice if they could be both. But we still have baggage we're carrying, so sometimes we interfere. If you call Christ into your life, let Him arrange things for you. I've lived in a number of places over the time, and I like living in communities, apartment communities basically, because I don't fit in the country club group, but apartment communities where they've got a recreation manager. Someone sets up things. Maybe we're going to have a boating trip. We did that when I was in California. We went up on one of the rivers in Northern California and went boating. 2 people in a raft. And you've never done it before. You got to figure out how to do it. But it's safe, relatively. Nothing's perfect. But we do that, or we go to the zoo together, or we go, whatever, wherever we were. This was up in Northern California, south of San Francisco, southeast. But I like that because I don't have to think about it. Somebody's doing all the planning for me, because I hate the details of planning. God's doing that for us. He's already done it. He's already got it down, written down in a book, and it goes, okay, what do you want? Okay, well, at this stage in your life, you should be doing this. You want me to help you? You got to stop doing that other thing that you're doing. But if you stop that, I hope you do this. It's a simple plan, and it's already written down in His mind, if not on paper. We're in the book of life. I'm assuming that there's a real book He's going to open up, and it's got our name in it, because it's called the book of life. He's got everything planned. We just have to let Him be who He is. Now, as a human being, He could not be fully God for us, because we can't look at God, because God is so grand. But anything that you've seen Him do is a trait that you would see God have. Jesus was kind to people. The people that weren't threatened by Him loved to be around. They also got things out of it. They got fed. People who didn't have enough food were following Him around, and He fed them out of compassion. We've got all these people here. We've been talking to them all day. We can't send them away without food. They've missed meals today. Now, if this was today, they'd have had to have 3 breaks and snacks during the conference that he was having, huh? But I guess back then they didn't have the 3-meal rule. That was something created by merchandising and marketing to sell more. A lot of what we have is created that way. Our food pyramid was created by people that way. Or you got to drink milk and you got to have eggs, and then another generation, or you can't have eggs, they're bad for you. They're created by marketing people, not by scientists. And you can get a scientist somewhere to say anything. if you pay him enough money. God has a perfect plan. We just have to let him run things. Now, we're working with him while we're doing this stuff. We're just not going to sit back and, okay, God, I want my car delivered, I want the house built, and let me know when it's done so I can show up. That's not how it works. But if we're going to be out doing stuff that we need that car and house for, God will help you to meet the right people, to talk to the right employer, to find something to do with your life that you enjoy doing, because you've got to have some kind of a trade. Unless you want to go into the ministry, and this would be an awful boring world if everybody were ministers. And it would be one that didn't work. There's your plumbing wouldn't work, and you wouldn't have a house that's very well built because you built it yourself, or your heating doesn't work. Whatever it is, we've got to have tradesmen. The lie that they told was that you all had to have an education. You have to go to college. Well, that was their way to get you into the school of propaganda. All right. Trust in Jesus. It's not going to be easy coming up, but it's not easy for the world, and we have to live in this world until we save everybody. With the, Jesus is doing the work, the Spirit's doing the work, but we are the vessel. We're either half full or half empty. The key is we're fillable. It doesn't matter whether you're half full or half empty. As soon as you need it, you can fill us up as much as you need. All right. I don't know how much longer. I had to come down here in between major rainstorms. There's a gap right now that we're in, and that's why I'm recording this. I will put this up probably tomorrow once I get my camp set up, because they've got 5G, 5 bar there at the next campsite, so I won't have to set up my antenna. And it won't take long to get this uploaded. I might even try to do, I'm there for 10 days, I might even try to do a live broadcast, so keep an eye out for a notice on that. See if God gives me something to talk about. Well, I've always got something to talk about, but something for him. This may be a very interesting year. It may or may not include a rapture, but it will certainly start seeing us step in leaps and bounds into the tribulation time frame. Not inside the tribulation. That starts with the Antichrist, and we may or may not see him. But we're seeing the book of Revelation unfold right in front of us. Groundwork is being laid right now for the Antichrist. It's going to be an interesting year. The election could throw the people that are in office completely out of office, and they won't like that. Let's see what they do. And I can see what's happening in this war that's going on over there. The United States, we're launching a lot of our armaments into an area that really doesn't matter. We could stop these guys in an instant. We could go up and set a shore battery up there and shoot everything down that takes off. And they'd have no influence. They wouldn't be able to get out. We blockade their harbor so they can't get out. We just completely surround them. They're attacking their own neighbors. It doesn't, we wouldn't have any problem getting help. But we're also spending our ammunition. And we're not making more. We're about to give some F-16s to Turkey. Turkey doesn't like Israel. Pretty soon, it's going to be completely surrounded by people that don't like Israel, and we're not going to be able to help, because we're either going to politically change and turn against them, or we're not going to have any ammunition left to shoot at anybody to stop a war from continuing on. And they're doing the same thing with Israel. Israel is depleting all their missiles And we've been the greatest supplier for them. And if we no longer help them, where are they going to get them from? They're not going to get them from Russia or from China. They might get some from the UK for a while, but I don't know. It's taking shape. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.